So originally this video was gonna be about the times they almost died, but then I remembered I never been through any life-threatening events. So I decided to talk about the next closest thing, my 2 biggest injuries. So here's the first one. So I was on a trip with my family to Oklahoma. We were visiting some friends for the holidays, and my friends and mom decided to take us to a local mall for a play area the mall had. So this was my first time in this mall, and it was so exciting seeing all the shops and stuff they had. When we got to the play area, I sat out on a table and just watched my friends play in the play area because I was 13 and was a little bit too old for it, and I didn't want to break something there. So I'm just sitting there with a Sprite I bought from a vending machine, and my friends decided to call me over to play tag. I said to myself, why not? What's the worst that could happen? It's just tag. But I didn't know the pain I was getting myself into. So me and my friends were playing tag, and eventually I became the tagger. So while I'm chasing my friends, I trip on this little hill the little play area had, and because I was wearing gaiters, my foot trips and I twist it. Well, I ain't moving from here. So I'm just laying there, in pain, while my friends are standing next to me, waiting for my parents. Eventually my parents came, and I was laying there for like 10 minutes, and I had to be carried out of the mall by my dad due to me not being able to walk. And let me remind you, I weigh 190 pounds. I am very heavy. So around a week later, my mom took me to a hospital to check what happened. And the doctor just tells us I twisted it and it wasn't a big deal. I'm sorry, but does that explain not being able to walk? So he asked me if I would like some crutches, and I say yes, because my foot is still in pain. And so for the rest of the week, I wore crutches. Alright, time for story number 2. So I was in 3rd or 2nd grade back then, and we were all having PE for my first class. So we were all playing with balls, and I was trying to grab a ball, and this other boy was trying to grab the exact same ball as me, and we were both running to each other from the opposite directions. And due to that, we crashed, and his teeth happened to slice a piece of flesh off my forehead. The hit was so hard, I fell down to the floor, and when I got up from the floor, I saw a huge puddle of blood everywhere, and everybody was just looking at me like if I just robbed a bank or something like that. And not like 30 seconds later, the school nurse rushes in with a wheelchair, and I get put on the wheelchair, and the nurse is just grabbing my forehead, pointing it upwards so I don't drop any more blood all over the school. And eventually we do get to the nurse's office, and I ask her, why did you bring me in a wheelchair? And then the nurse starts talking to me something about brain damage and stuff like that, stuff I didn't pay attention to. To make my forehead feel better, you know what the nurse grabs? Just ice, tape, and paper towels. Ah yes, the magical weapon of school nurses, ice. So around 15 minutes later, my mom takes me to the closest hospital, and I got stitches. I'm sorry, is this because I snitched on my friend last week? Cause I heard the term snitches get stitches. So I got to skip school for that day and watch Paw Patrol for like 5 hours. So nice. Moral of the story, don't be like me, I'm a bad influence.